Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am yours truly, Hakeem Singleton. With
Matthew King.
thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're just so excited to bring you guys some information today, some life changing stuff. We're really excited, and we just hope that some of this hits home. This is the We Dream About Real Estate and More show. Once again, it's Hakeem Singleton
And
Matt King.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So it's our first show, it's our first episode. So we want to just kind of introduce you to us. We've been kicking it now for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And no plans on stopping. We got lots of stories, lots of stories together, lots of time spent. So it's a blessing for me to be here with my brother. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
And so without further ado, my name again is Hakeem. I have been in the mortgage industry, real estate industry for the last 12 years. This is all I've ever done. I graduated college. I'm Philly born and raised, grew up in North Philly, Logan Valley. Just went to Dougherty, I'm a Dougherty graduate. Proud of that fact. My Dougherty family always holds me down.
Always.
And so I'm just excited. It's been a wild ride for me in this business. We're starting out knowing nothing, knowing no one, and growing it to the heights where I am today. And I'm just so grateful and so blessed to be here and be able to share some of my knowledge with you guys. At this point, I also like to say I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur, just investing in everything I can to grow wealth and accumulate wealth for my family and myself. Matt?
My name is Matthew King, and I am the CEO of Dreams Too Big TK brand, and that brand is based on inspiring, and it's a travel apparel company. I've worked in education for over 11, 12 years now, and one of the biggest things that I'm passionate about is encouraging our youth and pushing them to dream and go further. And today I'll talk more about the brand, more about upcoming opportunities and different events that we're involved in. One of the biggest things that we're doing today is making sure that we let people know what's happening so that we can educate more people can get involved if they want to, and present opportunities to improve the community. So thank you, and look forward to meeting everybody.
Absolutely. So, this is our first show, and we're trying to get into a groove on how the flow of the show should go.
Definitely.
So, just super excited to kind of bring some motivation first. I feel like as young professionals in this COVID climate, it's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay focused, especially for those of you that have children in this world right now.
Exactly.
I have 3 boys, 5-year-old twins and a 9-year-old boy as well. And I'm doing the 4th grade math. I'm reading the stories at lunchtime. And then I'm a husband, so I'm helping cook, I'm helping clean. Just working on all of those things that build life with your family. And it's become more and more difficult to be able to focus on the business, focus on working in the business and working through the business. And so I like to go to music for my motivation a lot of time.
Definitely.
Matt and I share that. And so it's a few lines in music that always inspire me. And there's one recently that I heard from a new song that motivated me as well. And I know Matt is going to touch on that too. If you guys are listening, you want to call in, please feel free, give us a call, and we'll definitely be able to we'll definitely be able to chime in with you and feel that motivation. So let's motivate each other. If you got a motivating lyric, a motivating quote that you've heard, anything that's touched you, please do not hesitate to share that, right?
Yep. And definitely use the Facebook Live and the other avenues. Make sure that you put a song or a line that may motivate you, a quote. You can put it inside the chat. We'd love to interact and hear from others as well. Because one thing we want to do is make sure that we touch on information that people are interested in and make sure that we're providing information that's useful to you.
Well said, brother. Well
Thank you,
said.
thank you.
So, without further ado, I'm gonna drop my line first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, it's a Nipsey Hussle line, and it's real simple. Um, it was a line in the song "Hustle and Motivate" that whenever I hear it, it always reminds me of where I started and the leap of faith that I took, and it reminds me that to not quit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a line where he said, and I'm gonna do my best Nipsey impression, right?
Okay, let's hear
He
it.
said, "Fort off the slave ship." These just the lyrics or the song or the lyrics of the music that I swim against the waves with.
Mm-hmm.
Reached the shore to my amazement. And for me, and I know I butchered that, but for me, um, jumping off the boat and going against the tide is something that I've had to do my entire career. You know,
Right.
I'm young, I'm a minority in the industry filled with middle-aged Caucasian men, and so there's no knock to them, but it's just a little bit of a harder path for me, and so. Um,
Tell a little bit about that path, if you don't mind, for the people who don't know. Just give a little bit about your background and what you've overcome from your youth until now.
for sure, for sure. So, um, grew up without a pop, no father, no
Mm-hmm.
father figure in the home. I was raised by my aunt, and who just recently passed. So rest in peace, on Rosamay.
Rest in
Um,
peace.
and so I was raised in essentially a single parent household. My aunt Val as well was there to help me and raise me and motivate me and push me. But we didn't grow up rich. I didn't have the best access to you know the flyest clothes
Mm-hmm.
or the most money to go out and take my girlfriend places. There were days where me and Matt went out on double dates, and my card got declined, and Matt had to pick the bill up.
Nice. You gotta stay sturdy. Can't have you looking bad. I got you. I got you.
But not having a father, not having access to the things that my not so melanated counterparts have,
Mm-hmm.
um, made me hungrier. It made me want to be successful more. And so on that road to success, I decided that I was not going to be someone else. I was going to be me unapologetically, and I was going to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I haven't changed. I feel like I've stayed 10 toes down in that, and I want to make sure that continues, and that no matter which height I reach or level I achieve,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be me, and I want to bring the people that were at the bottom with me as far as I can, and so that's where I am at.
Definitely. I like that. Thanks for sharing your story, just like a snapshot of it. And as we do more and more shows, I think people will be able to understand just how truly dynamic your story is.
I appreciate it.
The song that I was thinking about, the quick verse, it was on the J. Cole album a while ago. It was on one of his mixtapes, and it was just basically, I gotta make a move, I gotta make it now, and if they don't know your dreams, they can't shoot it down, right?
Boom.
And that was one of my favorite bars. It was so simple, but it was straight to the point. One of the biggest things about me is the fact that I have a lot of dreams. I have ambitions to like do so many things, and it's trying to find that balance of who to share those thoughts with and who to share those dreams with, to try to pursue them. Because if you're in the area, you grew up in a city where there's more dreams deferred than there are actually, dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to believe that that you won't be able to make it or stand out. And so we had to constantly, like talk back and forth. Always was trying to find a way to build and improve. And I think going through these different obstacles and things, we stopped looking for approval to be great and started just trying to push and make a difference. And I think that's why we were able to try to start so many businesses, try to get so many jobs. We always had a job, because we knew that what we wanted to do and wanted to find ways to like, we just wanted better. You know, we wanted to do more. We had great examples in our lives,
Yes.
teachers, family members, foundation of the church, all types of core values that was instilled in us. And
For
I
sure.
think that's one of the things that made it so easy to be willing to go out on them and take these chances and pursue these dreams that some might seem, too big, I guess, right?
And that leads us into to the brand, right? That leads us into dreams too big to be local.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's talk a little bit about how that started. How did and it's a funny story. How did that start? How did Dreams Too Big to Stay Local start?
Um, that started before that story I even told you. That started before then. Working in high schools in the city, I've worked in a number of high schools. If anybody's not familiar with like the Philadelphia inner city, where like 99% impoverished, it's just it's a constant battle, and you're not only battling with everything they have to go through inside the classroom, you deal with what they have to do before they get to school and after they leave. And when I used to speak to a lot of my students, it was hard for them to dream outside of like their current neighborhood or current situation. And issues like that always bothered me, because when I went home and be able to sleep at night, I'm like, I have some students who don't even have a home to go to, don't even have a bed, or unfortunately, I had students who were shot or didn't make it to school the next day, and I'm like, okay, what can I do to try to like help that? Besides my job, I show up to work every day. Perfect attendance sometimes, majority of the time. But the main thing is, how could I help even more? And so the first year when I first started Dreams Too Big to Stay Local, I had a student who was graduating, and he didn't have the money to pay the down payment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's the way I can help. And so I started selling my Dreams Too Big t-shirts, and the profit that I made from that during the first year, I used that money to give a check to the student so he'll be able to go to school.
Right.
And that worked out. And I was like, wow, this is great. And so it wasn't an official scholarship yet at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, like, okay, if I wanted to do more, I had to put things in action.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also realized I'm not a big baller. My heart is bigger than my budget, And so that's when I called on my community. I called on my team, and I started the Dreams Too Big Foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it incorporated with the brand. So the scholarship and the Dreams Too Big to Stay Local, because I'm an avid traveler, it just worked together. So not only is it something that you can wear and look fly while you're out, you definitely look fly when you're wearing the brand. Trust and believe. It's also a good cause, and so it gives it purpose.
Absolutely.
Right? And I know you're not a person who wears something without a purpose or a cause. You like to feel like when I do make a purchase, when I am invested, it's something bigger than just rocking a design. You're like directly helping others and yourself.
For sure. It's one of the reasons I connect with the brand. I connect with dreams, because I'm always chasing. I'm always chasing my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that know me or in my circle know I'm always working. Even when I'm sitting down and I might be eating dinner, but my mind is always working. I'm always thinking about the next thing. And growing up in the rougher section of Philly, I never stopped dreaming about more. And when I finally went to college and got out and really stayed out for a little while, I realized there was so much more to life than what the inner city holds. And I'm not knocking the inner city, but your dreams are too big to stay there. It's okay to get out. It's okay to experience and live life. It's okay to travel. It's cool to do those things. It's awesome to come back and buy real estate in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It's awesome to come back and reinvest and then give back to the community in which you come from and what helped shape and mold you. And so for me, it was more or less when Matt decided to make the brand a full scholarship. For me, it was so motivating to see what such a small seed could do in such a large pot of soil, right? Not only is he providing scholarships to his students, what he doesn't, or maybe he does at this point now, realize that is that every time he walks in his school with his t-shirt on or with his brand on, it tells the student that someone that looks like me can start a business and the business grow and be successful. Every time I walk in a room and I have a pen that says Singleton Mortgage Group on it, it tells a young man or a young woman that looks like me that, hey, I can start a business and I can provide an exceptional service to my community. And that ties me into where Singleton Mortgage Group was built. Singleton Mortgage Group is a small, I like to call us a boutique mortgage shop. We're not small in service, but we are small in size, right? So it's myself. I have four other teammates that help me get the word out and help me service all of our clients. At this point, I think since we started the business, we're over 200 families served. Wow. We started the business in 2018. And so just 2 short years, we were over a couple hundred families served. And it's a beautiful thing. And so, I was with a larger mortgage company. I'm not going to say any names. And I saw how people were treated that had less. It was even a point where a manager at one point said to me, you need to go get better loans. And for me, I was like, wow, the loans that for the people that look like me and come from where I come from, because that's where I'm selling loans, aren't good enough for you. They're not good enough to finance. Right. And I began this trek to find a company that would back Singleton Mortgage Group, back our vision, and invest in us. And in 2018, I found a company that was backing and supporting us, and it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing ride, it's been an amazing experience. We're backed by Success Mortgage Partners, and the leadership within Success and their vision ties into mine so well that I'm able to service the people like us. I'm able to go out and to give back to the community. I'm able to help and sponsor and do co-branded events like the Give Back, right? Where we gave away 4 scholarships to kids that were in the city and went to my alma mater at Delaware Valley University. Right. And so, those are the things that make the most, that help us and help us grow. And so,
and I have a question for you too. Yeah. When you mentioned the vision of the people that's closest to your heart, the people that you want to serve, why is it important that people in our communities start having home ownership and taking ownership of things? Why do you think that's important?
So I think it's important is because stability breeds confidence in children. That's the most important thing that I had growing up was stability. We didn't move around. We didn't jump around, and we owned the home that we lived in. And now I own the home that I grew up in. And so it is incredible to be able to provide a constant, safe and healthy environment for a child who is growing up where it may not be so pleasant, where they may have to look over their shoulder when they're walking to the grocery store, or they may not be comfortable wearing a new pair of sneakers because they don't know if someone else wants the sneakers that they're wearing. And so having that stability, being able to provide a wealth generating tool is unmatched. That property that I grew up in, I now own. Right. And I'm not going to sell it, but now I have the ability to create passive income if I decide to lease the property.
Definitely.
I have the ability to, if I decide to convert the property to a multifamily, I have the ability to create even more cash flow.
Exactly.
I can sell the property. I'm not, but I could, and walk away with enough of an asset, enough money where I could go buy 2 smaller properties and do the same thing.
So what you're telling me is, home ownership affords you options, flexibility.
Freedom.
Yes, definitely. And I have another question for you though. Now, does Singleton Mortgage Group provide like opportunities to educate and support the community? Say, for instance, I'm someone who wants to own a home, but I may not have the resources or the knowledge or the foundation to be able to get it. What would I do in order to become a homeowner?
For sure. So the first thing you want to do is contact us. We have a system in which we walk you through your credit profile to see exactly where you are. Right. Every map going anywhere has a beginning point. Right. So it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning of the road, the middle of the road, or the end of the road of your journey. When you put the GPS on, you type an address in. There is a point where you begin, and so that's where we meet you where you are, right?
Yeah.
We meet you where you are in the process, and then we walk through that. We walk that road together. We drive that highlighted route together.
Okay.
And so the first step is just to call us. That's the first step. The first step is to pick up the phone and dial 267-337-3157 and call us. That's it. That's the first step.
Do you have a website as well?
Of course. The next step is to complete an application or to send us an email. We just relaunched our application site, so I will have a new application site coming out soon.
Okay.
But for right now, you can definitely check us out at singletonmortgage.com, singletonmortgage.com, or email me at hakeem@singletonmortgage.com, and we can get that ball rolling for you. Super cool, super happy to be able to support. And we also do first time buyer classes. We teach those with some of the local community development centers. We do a lot of things. So yeah.
Okay. And just another question in general for everyone who may not be familiar with some of the things that you do as well. And I'll talk more about the stuff I do later, but just want people to understand, why is it important? Why is it fundamentally important to give back to the communities that are underserved and don't have these resources? Why do you want to change that dynamic in the mortgage realm?
I want to change the dynamic because one, if you're an aspiring mortgage professional, if you're looking to get into the mortgage business, you don't have to leave your community to make money, right? That is inspiring. You don't have to move. You don't have to pick up your network, your sphere of people, and then move to the main line, and then try to do loans on and win in Bala Kenwood, right? You as a professional, you can make an honest living doing mortgages where you grew up. You can make an honest living doing mortgages in Uptown or South Philly or West Philly or Southwest. And if you're from Northeast Philly, you can make an honest living in Northeast Philly. And then for the people that are looking to buy in those neighborhoods, why not build wealth where you're comfortable?
Definitely. And one of my, it's not an issue, but it's just like it grinds my gears a little bit.
Right.
The table talk, right? So we can be sitting in our particular neighborhoods and we can look around and say, yo, they bought that. They rebuilding that. And then that's all we do. We have that convo, we talk about it, we upset, or maybe not, but your neighborhood starts to look different. Prices start to change. People making money. The people who've been living there their entire life are being asked to move, forced to move because taxes might have increased. And then all of a sudden, their house goes into foreclosure or short sale or I don't know what the terminology, but the basic stuff.
For sure.
And then the cycle starts all over again. Now all of a sudden we're looking for somewhere else to live, looking for a place to rent. And I think that it's truly important to at least educate and inform our folks so that they can make informed decisions and not decisions based off of like situations. So what do you think about that?
I think education is key. Think of it this way, right? When you Matt, when you first you relate to this.
Okay.
When you first start teaching a kid math, you don't jump right into multiplication, right? You start with the basics. You start with 1, 2, 3, 4. You start with sequence, right? And then you build on sequence and you start teaching addition. It's a reason you teach addition before you teach subtraction, because you can't subtract from something if you don't know how you got to that something in the first place, right?
Right.
So let's talk about adding and subtracting in real estate.
Okay.
So, you want to talk about buying a property first before you start talking about selling a property. And a lot of times that's in our community, that's what is taught first. We're taught to sell what we have for cash to go buy something that's not necessarily a need. And so where we should begin the education is how to add another asset to your portfolio. And that's really what it is. It's just adding. And when we look at around, we have those table talks, we have those conversations.
Right.
All right, yeah, so and so bought that house. I don't know why they bought that house. Oh, that house falling apart. Why they buy that house? Or, oh man, so and so grandma just passed. They sold the house already.
Right.
And you look around. You start looking around, like right now in Southwest Philly. You're looking around in certain sections of North Philadelphia. You looking in Brewery Town. It's like, all right, our grandmoms and grandpops and aunts and uncles had those houses and owned those properties.
Right.
And the moment they pass away, the kids see an opportunity to sell it and make a quick flip. Instead of saying, okay, I got this, now I can add to it.
Right.
And that is where the disconnect is. Instead of subtracting, the addition conversation needs to happen. If people are educated on adding wealth and adding assets to their portfolios, that those issues wouldn't be as prevalent. Because when someone passes away or when someone leaves us a property, the first thing we see is dollar signs and what we can do with the cash from that property. Well, how about we talk about adding? How about we say, okay, what can we do with this? Can we let's put a tenant in there before we put money into it. Let's see if we can get a tenant and then fix anything as the tenant is there, right? We can improve the property while you have a tenant. And so we want to improve the property. Oh, now I've owned this house for 6 months. Let me call Hakeem and take a cash out, refinance, and pull some money from the property, because now I have a tenant who's happy with the improvements I made to the property and happy with where they're staying. And now that property is now generating income, passive income from us, from this property. We're getting passive income from this. Right. So then you pick up the phone and you say, Hakeem, I need to pull some cash out because now I want to buy another property that is up for sale 2 doors down. That is what Rick Ross says when he says buy the block.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's about addition and not subtraction. And that's the conversation that needs to happen.
Definitely. And I want the people who are listening to understand that ownership is not easy. It's not simple. It brings about a whole nother level of responsibility. Each time these snowstorms happen, I had to shovel my yard. I had to shovel in front of our church. Had to shovel in front of some other properties that my parents own, a part of our business. That's just like, making light of things, but it gets real. But though any level that you're on, it will have good and bad as well. But it's just a matter of balancing out where you are and trying to build on that.
For sure. So while we're talking about that, Matt, and we're talking about building wealth, and we're talking about creating a lane. Let's talk about what to do with some of the extra income we now have. How to have fun.
Right.
Because so a lot of y'all may not know, and I count, even though he probably doesn't know I count, but I think Matt, you've been to 6 or 7 countries.
No, it was like 17, 18 countries.
See,
But
see,
that's not a lot in the realm
see.
of it's over, 190 something countries in the world, but that's a goal eventually. And the pandemic definitely put a little, a little speed bump in my in my goals. But speaking about traveling, speaking about some of the things that you could do if you had those opportunities, right? When you get the extra funding, the extra cash. One thing that I wanted to touch on before we even talk about different types of travel, we have to mention that we are currently in a pandemic. And there are people that still travel in the pandemic, right? I wish I was one of them. I may be one of them soon, but not right now. Not at all. There are some things that I think for the people who are not traveling right now, but even though you love traveling, there are some things that you can do. One tip that I would like to share with y'all is go to cbp.gov and look into applying for your global entry account. And the reason being is because traveling during the pandemic, is going to cause extended waits, extended delays, and just unnecessary issues that may come across. So while you're waiting to travel until things slow down a little bit, apply for your global entry because it's usually like a 2 to 3 month wait in order to get that access. And some of the access that you get with global entry, even if you're not traveling out the country, you don't have to. You are TSA pre-approved, so you don't have to get checked in. You go straight through. You don't have to take your shoes off. I hate taking my shoes off. If you do go out the country, you don't have to fill out the paperwork, that information, that pass that you need to have in order to get out the country. I've seen somebody come to the plane and they lost that paper, so they couldn't even leave. They had to wait and fill out everything, and it's just like a bunch of small steps that you can alleviate just by doing things that can help your travel when you decide to travel again, right? Another thing you could do is just like the housing market, the interest rates are really low with the housing market right now. But it don't mean, no, the interest rates are really low in the housing market. And also the same thing with travel. Prices are really low. And if you're looking to travel somewhere, say next year or so, it's a good time to look up those different prices, try to lock in those different rates. So when the world opens back up, you'll be able to get those particular trips at a premium. Now, for the people that are traveling during the pandemic, just like I said, the trips are still at a premium rate, right? What I would say is travel where people are not traveling, right? Basically, right? Because those flights are still cheaper. You're still sort of maintaining social distancing, even though you can't really maintain that on the plane. But the planes have a certain type of filter where the air is able to like circle in and out. So it's not as bad, but it's still not 100% safe with everything that's going on. But I want people to understand that if you do travel, I would highly suggest traveling to places where the whole city of Philly is not going. That's just my opinion. I don't know. And the other thing that I would like to mention is when you do travel, you don't have to make the traveling super expensive, right? Mm-hmm. It's good to do research. It's good to talk to people who've already been there. It's good to make sure that you actually have a plan. I'm a person who likes to plan sometimes. Other times I would go to a place. Back when basketball games were allowing fans, I would buy a ticket to a stadium in another city, and then I'll plan backwards, right? I'll buy the ticket for the event at a really great price because I know how to shop on like StubHub, and all those other areas. I love to try to make money, but I also try to spend as little money as possible. That's just the life I try to live, right? And what you end up doing is you find different events or tasks or different excursions to do, and then you work backwards, and that helps you build around different price ranges. And we do have a question in the chat, so we answer in a second.
Okay.
Around different price ranges and being able to help you stay within your budget, because there's nothing worse than going on a vacation and coming back and not being able to pay your bills because you had too much fun. That's just like priorities.
Listen, I get it. I've been on both sides of that coin. I wasn't always wise. So I've traveled and then come home to a mess because the bills weren't paid and trying to figure out what's the next step, how to get back on track, right? And so I've been there. So before I get, and Brian, I see your question. Mr. Brian, I should say, I see your question. I'm gonna answer it in 1 second. I want to ask Matt something really quick while we're still on the topic of travel.
Okay.
When this is over, and the world is semi-safe, and we've reached the immune rates they're talking about on TV.
Right.
Where is the first place you're going to travel?
Probably NOLA, New Orleans. I love New Orleans with my whole heart. If I had any more space in my heart, I'll add New Orleans to that. It's like the food, the people, the culture. It's just amazing. I feel welcome there. And there's nothing better than traveling somewhere and feeling like you belong. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And their flights are super, super cheap for NOLA. So that's what I would do.
All right, and one more question. Countries. You've been to 16, 17.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
Oh, that's messed up. I would say Portugal. Going out Portugal. That place was just like beautiful. The scenery, the food, the people is amazing as well. And it's like a throwback small city vibe, and I like that. It's just amazing. Yeah.
That's love. All right, cool. So we got a question in the chat.
Yes.
The question was, what about buying a house and then placing it in a trust? Well, I'll read again too. What about buying a house and placing it in a trust? Depending on what the trust is for, you have to file taxes for the trust. So to answer that question, you really want to talk to an accountant about that one, a CPA, I should say. But that is something that you can definitely do. Buying a house and placing it in a trust is a smart thing. It can help you avoid taxes personally, and if it's going to be an income producing property, it could potentially help you avoid some taxes that way as well. So great question, great question, Mr. Bryant. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support.
Definitely.
And so back talking about travel.
Okay.
When we travel, we rock the dreams gear.
Oh, most definitely. That's law. That's law.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what we do when we travel.
Yes.
We rock the dreams. And so when I went to Mexico, I had the green, white, and red dream shirt on.
A one of one.
A one of one.
Yes.
So tell me, what do we have coming out? What do we have dropping in the next month, 2 months, so that when the world opens up,
right,
we can start traveling.
All right, perfect.
Traveling and stuff.
Perfect. Okay, so we bring props and stuff. If anybody ever went to one of my workshops in school, we always do props. We always do giveaways, try to keep people engaged and stuff, right? And for the people that are listening on the radio, I'll do my best to try to describe exactly what we're using or showing right now. And so this right here, this is a Stay Trippin' blanket. And I'm going to ask, I already know how they feel. I already know how great they are, and they're perfect to have while traveling. But I want Hakeem to open it up and to feel for itself and just let the people know just how great the material is and everything as well.
Oh man, this is like so for the people that's listening to the radio right now, I have a really plush travel blanket. You get on the plane, it's cold on the plane.
Yeah.
It's a really, really plush travel blanket. And if I had to equate the feeling to something, it feels like a fresh, brand new Beanie Baby.
I wasn't expecting that one. Oh, that's funny. That's
the
funny.
vibe this blanket is giving me is all that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so hot right now where we were, I would put this on.
Definitely.
This is awesome. And the branding for the folks on the radio, it is a Stay Tripping with the international airplane or the Boeing jet on the blanket as well. It's great for those cold evenings or sitting by the fire with your sweetheart and cozying up.
Definitely. And I'm also promoting for the people who stay in the house as well. It's a perfect lay around lounge type of situation as well too. And the other item is some lounge gear, right? I like to have people travel with like sweatsuits or hoodies, comfortable. You know, if people like to wear leggings or tights or anything like that, I like to have a system when I travel. I like to wear the same things. It just makes things easier. You grab your passport, you grab your stuff, and also all of this information. And I'm gonna have Keem look at this as well too, and talk about the material and like just some feedback. But if anybody was wondering where you can get any of the information or any of the items, you can go to dreams2big.com, and that's DREAMSTOOBIG.com. And while you're on that website, before that though, we'll be dropping some sweatsuits, some really light jackets, because summertime, I don't know if at night it might get a little cool or not. It's really light, so it won't be too heavy. It's easily portable, and those are things that you can also wear while you travel as well. But if you go on the website, I highly suggest everyone to subscribe so that you can get updates and information about any new drops, any new promotions, or any new opportunities that may happen for the students that we mentioned earlier. And I just want to talk about the scholarship real quick. And I want people to understand how important this is. When I talk about scholarship, I'm talking about money that is raised by the community, people who purchase, who donate to our cause, people who purchase items. Money goes towards scholarships. And that's money that we give to students that they do not have to pay back. We don't ask for anything back. We provide them with a check that's sent directly to their financial aid office. We also have opportunities to connect with mentors and mentors who may be in that career field. And we try to help and give any type of resources that we can provide. So even if you go to my website, it's not about just shopping. It's about the whole experience. If you do purchase something from me, you will get an item that you love. And if you do not love it, contact us. I'm easily reached. And if you know of a student that's going to college, currently in college, they're in trade school or any type of higher education, have them apply for the scholarship. These opportunities are out there. And one thing that bothers me is we work so hard behind the scenes to provide the funding, but it's so difficult to get our students, our youth, to actually apply for the scholarship. And this year we're going to push it. You're going to see it on Facebook. You're going to see it in emails. You're going to see it everywhere.
You're going to hear it on the radio.
On the radio, just like now. That was a quick commercial break, right?
Right there.
And have them apply. And on the other end, if you don't know of any students or if you're not associated with anyone, if you want to donate or help out and feel good and knowing that the funds that you're donating is going to a good cause, you can also sign up on the website under a donor. Or if you know someone who could benefit, just share the word, share the wealth. We're trying to help the community. We're trying to build the community and have them looking good while doing it all.
That's right. That's right. And so we have a pair of sweatpants here.
Mm-hmm.
I own like three pairs of these sweatpants. Super comfortable. They instantly became my go-to pants in the house. You know, for those Zoom meetings, we got to be business up top and party on the bottom. And so,
all the time.
You know what I mean? So,
seriously.
You know, I wear the polo shirt with the sweatpants. And so this is my comfort loungewear. So shout out to Matt for these.
Nah, for sure. And this is just a straight up gift for my guy because he's always asking for free stuff, but it's all good. We make it work because he helps out in other ways.
This is fire.
Yeah.
So this right here. So this is a nylon. This is a nylon. I guess you would call it almost a windbreaker, but like a spring jacket. It reminds me of those old vintage rip away sweatpants back in the day.
Yep, it's called a coach's jacket.
See, look at my description.
You got it.
Somebody give me a contract.
You got one.
I need. But this jacket is fire. It's one of my favorite colors in the Dreams stitch, which is the yellow. I like to kind of match the stitching with my shoes, and so I got a pair of nines, Jordan 9s in the house that I'm gonna wear with this jacket. So, man, thank you, bro.
No problem. I'll text you later. But one thing that we wanted to make sure is get involved with our different companies, our different opportunities, because above all else, we care about educating, informing, and promoting other businesses as well. I think it's integral to make sure that if you're having success, you should make sure that you helping others and try to bring the whole community forward. And I said all that. If anybody can see my hoodie, for everyone who cannot see it, I'm rocking a hoodie with all of the countries in Africa, right? And my first thought was, you're doing your first show, we got a different opportunity. I should wear Dreams Too Big stuff, right?
That's what I thought too.
I know. But that's not how I am in my heart. And I feel like you should always take a chance to promote others. And I would like to promote the movement. It's a black-owned business on Germantown Avenue, 7133 Germantown Ave. They have a plethora of different designs and items, and always promoting our black diaspora. And they just one of my favorite companies. So I wanted to make sure I rock them and support it. And another thing that I mentioned, I said join some travel groups. One thing to join, to check out, is Road to 100 Countries. They're a great community, great involvement, and that will be like build a lot of information for you. And the last piece that I was mentioning was if you're trying to look into travel in the future, reach out to Travel Goddess International, and you can find all of these different companies on Instagram, the websites, but just please make sure you use the resources that we can all build up.
Legit, man, legit. And so I think we're coming to the end of the show. We got a quick 5 minutes left. I'm going to hit one of the new premier programs that are going to be hitting the Philadelphia market beginning March for first-time home buyers. It is a state bond program. It is a PHFA program. They're going to be providing up to 5,000, I believe. I believe it's 5,000 towards your down payment and closing cost assistance. And that $5,000 is fully forgivable in 10 years. If you live in the property for at least 10 years after purchase, that $5,000 is fully forgiven. The minimum credit score for that program, I believe, is 660, and that program is for first-time home buyers. Amazing opportunities coming up. There are so many different down payment assistance programs that we could talk about. If you have questions about how to get money when buying your first property, please hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook. It's the Keem Show. It's ITSDAKEEM Show. It's the Keem Show. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support today. I appreciate you guys rocking with us for a full hour.
Definitely.
So cool to see. If you guys have questions and you want to reach out to me personally, shoot me a message, shoot me a text, email me, call me. I'm here. And so I'm going to end it with another motivating quote. And more so, not even a quote, just from me. This is how I'm feeling.
Okay.
So with everything going on right now with the Fred Hampton, and the movie that just came out, I didn't watch the movie because I wanted to educate myself on who Fred Hampton was first. This brother was incredibly articulate. He was smart. He was handsome. Pause. He was well presented. I listened to him talk, and I listened to it was an interview years. I don't know who was interviewing him, but it was an interview, and the person interviewing Fred kept asking him the same question over and over and over and over again, and the amount of peace and calm that brother showed while answering that question, and patience while answering that question repetitively, and he answered it differently every single time. And I say that to you to say, you're going to be challenged this month. You're going to be challenged in many different ways. And how you choose to respond is your responsibility. Choose light, choose love, choose wealth and happiness. Matt, you got any final words for him?
Well, after that brief sermon, I couldn't get as deep as that, pause. But what I would say, no, all seriousness, all jokes aside, y'all. Last year we were shut down, the whole country, and it forced us to adopt or rebuild. And we spoke so much about life and trying to just build and grow these brands. And one of the greatest things that we did was make things happen. This platform is out of my comfort zone. It's out of our comfort zone, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity and the chance to talk to everyone and just try to get the message out to people. So that's it.
That's love. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Real estate, dreaming, tripping. We here. Thank you guys so much.
See you next month.
See you next month. And let us know if you want us to do this more often. We can up this. So let us know. Give us some feedback in the comments, and we're here.
Thank you all. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.